The story of Slash, born Saul Hudson, is far darker than most fans ever realized because behind the iconic top hat, the dark curls, and the blazing guitar solos that turned him into a living legend of Guns N' Roses lies a troubled past filled with turmoil, chaos, and a constant battle with inner demons that nearly destroyed him long before fame could fully reward him. Born in London in 1965 and raised in Los Angeles, Slash's childhood was far from ordinary, as both of his parents were deeply immersed in the wild world of rock and roll, his mother a costume designer who worked with David Bowie, and his father an artist who designed album covers for some of the biggest rock bands of the era. Meaning that from the very beginning, young Saul was surrounded by excess, creativity, and dysfunction in equal measure, but this environment also exposed him to unstable relationships, drug use, and a lack of structure that would deeply scar him. When his parents' marriage fell apart, Slash became rebellious, drifting into the streets, turning to BMX bikes, and then eventually discovering the guitar, an instrument that would both save and curse him, because while it gave him a purpose, it also tied him to the very rock and roll lifestyle that nearly took his life. By the time he joined Guns N' Roses in the mid-1980s, Slash was already battling addiction, and as the band skyrocketed to fame with Appetite for Destruction, selling millions of records and redefining the sound of hard rock, the darker side of success consumed him even more, with endless nights of drugs, alcohol, and destructive behavior that made him both a legend and a cautionary tale. Stories from that era describe Slash passing out during recording sessions, destroying hotel rooms, overdosing, and even being declared clinically dead for 8 minutes at one point before being revived. A shocking reminder of just how close he came to losing everything. The darkness didn't stop there. His relationships suffered, his health deteriorated, and his lifestyle pushed him to the brink of death multiple times, with doctors at one point telling him he had only weeks to live due to heart damage caused by years of abuse, yet miraculously he survived. What many people don't realize is that Slash also struggled with deep loneliness and depression, even when he was at the height of fame, feeling trapped by the chaos around him and misunderstood by the world that adored him. His story becomes even darker when we remember the endless band feuds, particularly with Axl Rose, which not only tore Guns N' Roses apart, but also left Slash isolated, angry, and uncertain of his future. For years, he drifted between projects, trying to rebuild his career while continuing to battle personal demons, a journey that cost him friends, relationships, and nearly his life again and again. Yet within that darkness, there is also resilience because despite everything, Slash found a way to fight back, eventually getting sober in the mid-2000s, repairing his health, and focusing on creating music with his solo band and later reconciling with Guns N' Roses, proving that even the most tortured souls can rise from the ashes. But still, the full story of Slash is darker than many ever realized because it isn't just about drugs or fame. It's about a child of the rock and roll machine who was pulled into a world of temptation before he ever had a chance to choose a different path. A man who lived on the edge of death for decades and somehow survived long enough to become one of the most celebrated guitarists in history. And though his recovery is inspiring, his past remains a haunting reminder of just how destructive fame can be, turning legends into broken men and leaving scars that never fully heal.